Happy Friday. It's the final day of February, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams, and we've got a lot to get to. As you can see, I'm all kind of decorated out here, decked out for Mardi Gras weekend. It's the big weekend. We're finally here. Some of the biggest parades, the biggest crowds will be here on the Mississippi coast and throughout the Gulf Coast region over the next 4 to 5 days. Some of you might be traveling in from out of town and want to get the latest on the weather, or of course you're a local and trying to figure out the plans. By the way, there's kinds of a diverse group I've noticed when it comes to Mardi Gras. You got people like me who are pretty excited about some parades. And then there's also some folks like my parents, for example, who have lived in the New Orleans area for better than more than half a century. And well, Mardi Gras parades are more kind of like a background noise for them. I've even remember growing up, sometimes we would actually take trips out of town during Mardi Gras season just to get away from all of the hoopla. But, you know, different strokes for different folks. Anyway, we'll talk more about the parade forecast as we get to the weekend and take a look at next week, which still does feature at least a chance for rain. And so let's get to the information. First off, let's start off this morning. The temperatures cooled back a little bit from yesterday, right? We've seen some 40s. We also had some 30s earlier. But now during the 8 o'clock hour, temperatures are into the 50s. And there's just a little bit of wind out there, but all in all, not really much of a wind chill. So I think it's going to be fantastic for Friday's weather, and I really encourage you to make plans to get outside and enjoy it. I know yesterday it was cloudier and a little bit muggier, but today, crystal clear sky and pleasantly lower humidity back in the picture. There's a look at the temperature numbers for the current hour. You can see those 50s there. Eventually, later this morning, we get some 60s, so a perfect morning to maybe go for a nice walk. Or maybe get some yard work done if you have the luxury to be away from work or something like that. Or if you got some plans for maybe lunchtime. Look, there's noon and we got a temperature around 70. Perfect for dining al fresco, as they say, eating outside. And I think there will be a little variation in temperature when we go to the afternoon. This is because the water temperatures are still pretty cool in the 50s. So if you have places that are near the waterfront, like Waveland, like Gulfport, like Biloxi, like maybe parts of southern Jackson County between Ocean Springs, Goshen, and Pascagoula. Those are going to be places that might not get that terribly warm this afternoon because the water nearby helps to keep you cool. But once you go to the north of I-10, that's where we're seeing some of these warmer conditions. So look at places like Saussure, they get mid-70s this afternoon. You'll also see mid to maybe even upper 70s for some of George, Stone, and Pearl River counties. Let's take a look at that high temperature forecast this afternoon. Look at your town and your community on the map, and you can see those upper 60s for high temperatures for areas generally south of I-10. Once you go to the north of I-10, that's where we find milder air. Once you get away from those cooler waters on the coast. So you can see Pearl River, Stone, and George counties find those milder temperatures later this afternoon. So today looks like a great day if you have any outdoor plans scheduled for Friday. But of course, I'm wearing the Mardi Gras beads. That means it's parade forecast time. Let's take a look at what's going down tonight in Ocean Springs. We have perfect parade weather tonight. All you got to do is maybe consider wearing long sleeves, maybe a light jacket, but there's no rain, mostly clear skies, and crisp low humidity. The Ocean Springs Night Parade will begin rolling at about 6 p.m. And you can see temperatures dropping from the lower 60s into the 50s in the evening hours there. There won't be any strong wind breeze, and so fairly comfortable. Of course, the parades keep going as we go to tomorrow and Sunday, and the weather still looks really nice for the weekend. It's just almost impossible to get it much better than what we have it. So Saturday, we'll see another day with mild temperatures in the 70s. I will say we shouldn't be surprised if some places find a temp near 80 on Saturday. Places that are inland could come close to 80. but down by the coast, we're thinking mid-70s. So fairly warm. Sunday, a dry day, a cool front will arrive over the weekend, and that will help to cool Saturday's temperatures to Sunday. So we drop from the 70s on Saturday to mostly upper 60s on Sunday, a little bit cooler for you. Next week, got some stuff to talk about. You see those rain chances there on Mardi Gras Monday, Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday. It will turn drier and cooler by next Thursday. But before Thursday, we will track a system across the region that brings a chance for rain, a chance for storms, and some pretty windy weather. So let's take a closer look at that. Do you have plans on Monday or Tuesday next week? Pay attention to the forecast. We're about to go over some of those details. So here's one thing. The wind is going to be ramping up quite a bit. And of course, during Mardi Gras season, especially on Fat Tuesday, you see that wind bar there at about 20 miles per hour. So that's just a sustained wind. The gusts could be even higher than that. People wear costumes, people wear hats, floats have decorations on them. Is the wind going to be blowing these things around? Are we going to be put under a wind advisory? Something to watch. Why is it windy? It's because there's a storm system developing in the plains next Tuesday. You've probably already heard national headlines about this, as many are focused on the severe weather threat. For coastal Mississippi, I'm not so much concerned about severe weather on Tuesday. And while there's a chance for rain, right now, there's a sliver of hope that whatever rain we may or may not get in coastal Mississippi won't be enough to disrupt Tuesday's festivities. But the wind, that's not looking so iffy. That's kind of looking higher confidence. So that's the setup. That storm system developing in the plains, low pressure systems have a counterclockwise wind circulation around them. So this will help to draw in a strong breeze, a fresh breeze from the Gulf of Mexico up into the circulation of that low pressure. That's why the winds are going to be a bit stronger around next Tuesday, and why we shouldn't be caught off guard if we're out at the parades on Tuesday and we find breezy winds. This is not just for coastal Mississippi, but really for any part of the Gulf Coast. You can see those wind speeds around 10 to 20 miles per hour sustained with higher gusts possible. So that's the part of the forecast that we're pretty confident on. Having mild temperatures, confident. Having windy weather, confident. Having rain, it's looking iffy. And if you look specifically at our 7-day and 7-night rain chance chart here, obviously the weekend is dry. Amazing. But then we go to Mardi Gras Monday and we see about a 20% chance for a few isolated showers during the day and the night. You go to Fat Tuesday, and right now our rain chance is in the 30% range, which, by the way, has been waffling back and forth each day because our models are not showing consistency, which just leads to a less confident forecast. We don't have any consistency to really lock on to a trend because things keep changing with the computer models, some of them speeding up, some of them slowing down that arrival of the rain. But as of the latest information, it still looks like the most likely time frame for the arrival of our best rain chance would be Tuesday night, which would be basically as good as we can hope for. If we can get our parades in, get them done, and then have some rain come after everyone's already gone. You know, maybe in some cases people might view that as beneficial. You have, you know, the parade, and of course there's always the evidence of parade, should I say, as the parades come to an end. You look on the street and you will see that a parade was there. Well, if the weather turns wet and windy, then maybe that will assist in some of the cleaning efforts, post-parade cleaning efforts. We'll see. So we go to Ash Wednesday, and then the rain chance decreases there a little bit more. Let's show you some words before we get to the severe weather map. So for Mardi Gras 2025, high confidence in mild 70s, high confidence in breezy winds, low confidence on if there will be enough rain to really cause any disruption to our parade festivities on that Tuesday. But we do know that compared to this weekend, the rain chance next week will be higher because there's that system that will move across the region at some point during the first half of next week. Still today, a sliver of good news that the worst rain and the worst storms may take place to the northwest of our Mississippi coast, and so might not be bad enough to disrupt our plans. So now we'll get to the maps which show the severe weather threat. So zooming right down into our 6 southernmost counties, we see Pearl River County is in that risk area. Zooming out a little bit more, this also includes Hattiesburg, Macomb, and Baton Rouge. And then zooming out even more, you can see that it also includes other areas to the northwest of that. Shreveport, Lafayette, Jackson, Memphis. There's going to be a zone somewhere in that yellow area that picks up some severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings around next Tuesday or Tuesday night. Now you might be wondering, why is there a severe risk zone, then a blank or a gap, and then another one for Wednesday? Well, we remind you that storms tend to feed off of heat energy as fuel, thunderstorms. Daytime heating helps to fuel thunderstorms. And so when you get to Tuesday night, those storms are going to be rolling from Texas into Louisiana, into Mississippi. Then the sun goes down, the storms start to get weaker. Some of them may fall apart during those overnight hours. So that's why you see a blank in the map there from coastal Mississippi into Alabama. Then the sun comes back up on Wednesday, and then the storms beef back up, taking advantage of that heat energy from daytime heating, and they get strong again, and that's when you see that risk continue into the Atlantic coastline. All hazards are on the table: tornado, damaging straight line wind gusts, and hail. But like we just showed you, most of this is basically looking like it's going to take place to the north of our Mississippi coast. So hopefully we are spared from that type of severe threat, but it's something that we'll continue to keep a close eye on. Be sure to keep an eye on the forecast. Our weekend crew will be in tomorrow and Sunday, and they will have, as well as this evening's crew on Friday night, and they will all have more additional information on the latest updates and adjustments to what we are seeing next week. Of course, I'll be back in the office on Monday morning for GMM, and we'll have the latest on what to expect for Mardi Gras and Fat Tuesday then, especially if there's any changes. Of course, you'll possibly see me before Monday when I'm sitting at the parade desk with meteorologist Taylor Graham tomorrow for the Pascagoula parade. So hope that you tune in for that. We've been mentioning that you can watch that on our, I think, Bounce and Me TV channel on Saturday morning. So let the good times roll. Looks like some good weekend parade weather, and then some okay Mardi Gras parade weather, and hopefully pretty good Fat Tuesday parade weather. Even if we do get some rain on Fat Tuesday, hopefully it's just some light stuff, no storms, not enough to disrupt the parade festivities. Have a great weekend. Be safe at the parades, and take care.